Phoenix Suns hoped to book a trip to the NBA Finals, their franchise's first since 1993, but Paul George and the Clippers avoided elimination with this Game 5 win. The Suns now lead the series 3-2. Paul George led the Clips with a playoff career-high 41 points, including 30 in the second half. Welcome back into our NBA TV studios. I'm Kristen Ledlow. That's Greg Anthony. That's Steve Smith down there. And we're with you for the next, well, it really isn't up to us how long
we're going to be here a minute.
We're going to be here a while. We'll have all of the coach and player press conferences right here on Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T 5G. Let's start right there with PGA. What made the difference for him?
Well, I think the way the Clippers started the game, and by that I mean it showed him that they felt they could win the game, right? I thought Morris was incredible. I think he went 7 of 8 to start the game. He was just electric, making shots from everywhere. And then also credit Ty Lue for the job he did in terms of the adjustments defensively. The zone gave the Suns a lot of trouble. But it started that first quarter. And Smitty talked about this the first 7 minutes. I remember you mentioned it before we went to the game. That a lot of times tells you the mindset and the approach. And then Ty Lue, I go back to it. I think he has done the best job of in-game management of any coach in the postseason. I mean, he has pushed the right buttons consistently throughout the postseason, and never more so than when his team had its back against the wall. And I thought, again, that start by Morris set the tone. Paul George was, he was solid early. It wasn't spectacular, but he didn't have to overextend himself early. And then he could carry that load in the second half. And then I credit their defense. Phoenix played tight tonight. I thought they played a little tight. They were a little unsure. And I think the zone caused a lot of that doubt. And what happens as an athlete, when you start thinking you're not reacting, you play slow. And they played slow in the half court, and it really allowed the Clippers to kind of dictate. And they just really never gave up control of this game, Smitty.
You're totally right, G.A. I thought you said it best. Marcus Morris, the way he scored, to me was stabilizing points because he was posting up. He's been living at the 3 a lot, and he can shoot it, but if you look the way he established himself down on the block with his size and look at points in the paint, they were lacking all the size in this game. But when you look at it, they 58 points in the paint to 32. And then I thought T. Lue, like G.A. said, we've been raving all the adjustments and buttons he's pushing. He's just got the magic touch. He comes in with DeMarcus Cousins, goes right to him.
Which one of you, I couldn't remember, which one of you said, you did say, right, that Boogie could make the difference in this one?
He's so talented.
Yeah.
You just can't play him in long stretches. Got him going. They only had 19 points off the bench. And I think Yogi Ferrell had one in garbage time. So 17, 15 by Boogie Cousins and 2 by Nicholas Batum. So I thought for sure that they came out, they took the aggressiveness away from the Phoenix Suns with that zone, made them just think for a minute, has them pause, and then next thing you know, they got their confidence. And you said it best, Jig. Marcus Morris, we know Paul George was phenomenal, but Reggie Jackson, how consistent has he been?
Yeah.
I mean, Reggie's been consistent.
Right.
23 points. We expect him now to have 23 points.
Yeah.
I expect him to be the second best player on the Clippers night in and night out.
Right.
That's not something he's done over his career.
He's had
being this consistent.
At least 20 in, 6 of his last 7 games. At this point, when you look at the stats, the Clippers, as opposed to the Suns, nearly twice as many points in the paint, nearly twice as many points in transition as well. What was the key to establishing that pace early on?
Well, it's interesting, too, because I thought, again, Phoenix didn't handle the adjustments. Like, Aiden was not a factor, and it wasn't Aiden's fault for a lot of that. It was the lack of utilization of Aiden. They went when Phoenix was big, the Clippers went small. Mm-hmm. Cousins didn't play against Aiden very much, but they didn't try to go to Aiden. They didn't, because of the zone, they went away from their man-to-man principles offensively, and so you never saw him get rim runs, and they didn't try to post him very often. And so I thought, that was a part of the issue. And this is where, coaching really shows itself. I just thought, and it is tough for Monty on his end because you really have to wait to see how the Clippers are going to play, right? Because you don't really know. you know, because you know they're going to do some different things. And he probably thought, you know, they may play some zone or whatever. But then the fact that they were making shots early, they came out and got into a big lead. And I thought that changed the game. I thought the fact they got out to such a big lead, it really took Phoenix out of their game plan. It got them out of what they wanted to do offensively. And I thought that was also huge for them. They just, and again, they're a young team. You know, obviously Paul's been around a long time and, you know, Crowder's been around, but the vast majority of those guys are young, and they played a little tight tonight. And I thought that showed, and I thought the Clippers sensed that. Mm-hmm. And then once they got up, as soon as the Suns did something positive, Paul seemed to have an answer, or Reggie had an answer. And so, like, they've done what they've done this entire postseason with their back against the wall. They played spectacularly on both ends. And we talked a lot about this, but we got to go back. Paul George, how good has he been in the postseason? Like he should be getting the same accolades that we've given to Kevin Durant this postseason with how incredible he was. Embiid was incredible, but Paul George has been equally as good as anybody playing this postseason.
Well, a playoff career high 41 for Paul George, including 30 in the second half. Let's hear from him after the game. Aww. NBA Twitter, winning as always. Paul George first half versus the second half. Not wrong. When we come back, Playoff Central Live, Coach Ty Lue led the Clippers to extend this series with a Game 5 win. He's addressing the media now.
Now, 3-1 in the series. On the road, yet you guys come back and win in this fashion. What does it take for a team like that to do that?
Just the group of guys we got. I mean, it's been all season long. You know, we've been down guys. Guys have been out. Different guys are stepping up, stepping in and playing well. And we've been doing it all year long. And I don't keep saying the same word, resilient, but this group is. You know, the performance we got tonight, Marcus felt a lot better tonight. You see his performance. You know, PG, of course, being PG all playoffs. You know, Reggie Jackson. I thought Pat Beverly really did a good job defensively and kind of started that early surge when we got out in transition, got some early ball movement. And when we trust, play the right way, we're a good team, no matter who's on the floor. And I thought we did a great job of doing that tonight. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but just the group of guys we got, man. Like I said, I love those guys. They compete every single night, no matter who's on the floor, 1 through 17. So, you know, work's not done, but you know, we came into a hostile environment and got a gritty win, like I said, without 3 starters. And, you know, we got to do it again 2 more times.
Go ahead, Earl.
Ty, you just talked about how Paul stepped his game up. What did you see in him tonight? And this was his postseason career high when you guys needed it the most.
I think just taking his time, you know, just being poised, you know, just letting the game come to him. He knows he's going to get his shot opportunities, but I thought, you know, getting out to a good start early with Marcus, you know, really helped us out. We played through Marcus a little bit, we played through Reggie, and then PG was able to relax a little bit and just kind of let the game come to him, and then down the stretch just took over the game. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What did you say to him? Each assistant dapped him up at the end there, but you were the last one. What did you say to him?
I can't say it, I don't think. but
Medina.
You know, just, you know, way to play, you know, 2 more to go. But that's who he is, and PG's been great for us all year. And, you know, I just don't understand why it's, you know, magnified so much when he doesn't play well, when he has a bad game, because a lot of people play bad, you know. So, you know, like I said, I'm just happy he came back, you know, played a great game, and we needed every bit of it.
Hey, Ty, on that note, not only has Paul played well, but there's been a good pattern of him having really good bounce back games. What have you noticed, you know, okay, in between those games and on the court? Well,
that's what great players do. You know, you always bounce back. If you have a rough game, you know, you always come back and you bounce back and play well. And like I said, our team needed it. We needed that boost from Marcus in that first half of just kind of getting us going. I thought he did a great job with that. And then we just kind of fed off Marcus's momentum, you know, from that first half and just kind of kept it going. And every time they made a run, you know, we responded. You know, they went up 1 with CP's pull up, and then I think we might went on an 8-1 or 8-0 run. And we just responded every time they got close. We responded as well.
Go ahead, Sam.
Ty, you said early in the series you didn't want to get behind like this, kind of laughed about it, but then over there, you've been through this so many times. When you win a game like this, does it start to get fun when you feel that pressure shift and you know, like, here we go again?
Yeah, it is fun. And just talking to our team about just winning, not winning 3 games, but winning each quarter. Just trying to win the quarter. Start there. Because the journey's too long if you think about 3 games. 6 days, 3 games. Just think about winning each quarter. And I thought our guys really came out with that mindset. And we won 3 out of 4 quarters. So having that mindset when you're behind 3-1, but just winning each quarter, I think takes a lot of, thinking out of the game, a lot of pressure, as y'all call it. And you can just play free from that point on. So I thought our guys did a great job with that.
Coach, you talking about why you wanted DeMarcus and the resilience after some of the things, a lot of the things he's gone through in recent years?
I just think his toughness. I think he's a great player. He went through some injuries, which is unfortunate. But guys forget he was a max player. Before he went through all those injuries, and just having a post presence on the floor. He's a great passer when he catches it down low, and he's tough to handle down there. So him having 15 points off the bench was a huge spark for us. I thought to allow PG and Reggie to get some rest, Marcus to get some rest, we kind of played through Cousins, and he was great.
So what made you want him on this team?
I just told you. He used to be a max player. He's a great player. He just went through some unfortunate injuries.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that question.
Okay.
Do you remember when he first came in, did you have to have a conversation with him? Or?
Yeah, just talk to him about what we needed. We knew Zoo was, was a starter. We didn't know what Serge's, situation was going to be. We just told him, right now, we don't know what the situation is going to be. But just be ready to play if your name is called. And he worked every day, 5-on-5 with the young guys, played, kept himself ready. And then, when Serge was out and went down, or he was down, Cuz stepped in and played great for us. So I just told him, I never know. I can't tell you if we're going to play small, we're going to play big. Just be ready. And before the game starts or the night before, I will try to let you know if we're going to play you or not. And he's been great.
Go ahead, Law.
Ty, you talked about poise in this game early in the third quarter. You called a timeout. You got Nicholas Batum in there. It seemed like it was a vets kind of game. What did you see from what was going on early in the second half to kind of make you shift to go and ride Nick a little bit heavier in the second half?
I just wanted to try to get Aiden out the paint a little bit more. I wanted to see who he was going to guard with Marcus and Nico in there at the 4 and the 5. And so it worked out in our advantage. I just think being able to spread him out, and now we got, T-Man shot wasn't really falling tonight, who's been great for us all playoffs. And so we wanted to just shift it a little bit and see who we would guard and how he would play us. And like I said, it was great for us because now we was able to move him around a little bit more, and we were still able to get open shots, which we didn't knock down tonight, but I think we will in Game 6.
Last question from Andrew. Go ahead, Andrew.
Ty, you've been around a lot of guys as players, coach. We're extremely comfortable in playoff moments like this. Pressure basketball, as we call it, not you. But how would you describe the confidence level that Reggie has?
Reggie, man, he just, like I said, he's been phenomenal for us all season long. He loves these moments. He was talking trash all day today, at shoot around, before the game, after the game, and just keeping the guys' spirits up. And our guys are in a good place already, but just him just being so free and just, he loves these type of moments, to be able to play on a big stage, backs are against the wall, and he performs every single time. So, like I said, he's had a great year, like I said, and I'm just happy for him, just finally getting his opportunity and playing well, even throughout the postseason, and, finally showing, guys who he is as a player. So it's good to see. Y'all take care.
The Limelight is presented by Corona Extra. And guys, we're looking at the difference between Paul George's first half and second half. A playoff career high 41 points by the finish, but 30 of them, as you can see, came in the final couple of quarters. PG is now ready to answer some questions after extending this series, and he's at the podium.
Enjoy this position, being down. And I remember Reggie in Dallas saying that he sort of embraced feeling like this team was like the villain, kind of spoiling other teams' plans to eliminate you guys. Why do you guys thrive in this environment so far?
I'm not sure. I think we do just that. We thrive in this moment. We come together even more so in these moments. This team, is just made up of toughness all across the roster, and so. We're going to give it everything we got, and we live with the results.
Oh, sorry. Oh, then Law.
I was just saying he doesn't understand why when you struggle sometimes it's magnified. And you had your biggest game tonight in a moment like this. What did this moment mean to you, and
when Ty says that, like, he's wondering why people tend to focus sometimes on your struggles. Do you feel like, sometimes people pick on you a little bit more than, say, other stars?
I do. And it's the honest truth. It's a fact. But I can't worry about that. It's comes with the job, I guess. But it is what it is. I still try to go and dominate, whether I'm shooting the ball well or not shooting the ball well. I still try to dominate just the whole game in general. To me, it doesn't come down to just scoring. It's just being able to play both ends, rebound, and make plays for others. And so I'm beyond that. You know what I mean? I'm beyond that. I am who I am. I wish I could shoot 80%, 75% on a nightly basis, but it's not realistic. But what I can do is do everything else. And so it is what it is. They can judge me on what they want to. That part don't matter to me. I'm gonna go out there and hoop and give everything I got.
What did Ty say to you at the end there when he dapped you up? Because every assistant came over and dapped you up, but then Ty said something.
I can't share that.
You guys are on the same page, at the same end.
Yeah. It's a lot of MFs and bleep this and bleep that in there.
That neighborhood stuff.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
All right, Paul, I know you just said it's not about scoring and shooting, but you did hit those 3 threes in the third quarter after struggling for how many every game? You hit 7 threes in the first 3 quarters of this series. So when do you feel like you've got a rhythm where it's like, all right, I'm hot, keep getting to me?
Well, I just thought tonight my legs were under me, and that was just really the key. I felt strong physically, and my legs just felt like they were under me tonight. However way the series goes or however way the game goes, that plays a big factor. And with that, and then once you see the ball going down, it makes it easier to get in the rhythm.
I know you got the same rhythm and everything post game, but do you feel like you just did something different, or like this was just like, all right, you had your legs on you today, you just don't know when you're gonna feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, I thought I didn't rush or jack shots up to start out. I didn't think I rushed it. I was able to get a easy and one layup to start the game. I was able to get a free throw to start the game. I was at that point making plays for other. So I just felt like I was able to ease myself into the game, opposed to coming out jacking 10 shots in the first quarter. I just let the game come to me, and I thought it was great. Mook had it going. We wanted to keep getting Mook the ball, keep getting him looks. But again, I thought it was just me flowing into the game.
Go ahead, Marion.
Before the game, Ty said that you were pretty bummed when you heard about Zubats not being able to play with his injury. And then he also just said that Reggie was talking a lot of trash, especially even for Reggie, all day long, trying to give you guys spirits. Can you describe sort of the emotions of the day?
Yeah, it was tough, losing another player, another starter for us, and another big body for us that we need. It was tough, big loss. But I thought, situations like that, you rally together, and you just find a way. And keep saying it, Reg is one of the most positive people. He just keeps everything light. And that's what you need in these moments.
Mark,
Paul, given the ups and downs of the playoffs, just from a results standpoint and a quick turnaround, what's the process for you of being able to recover from a physical standpoint so quickly, and then just moving on to the next game in good order? And how do you think that applied tonight?
Literally the next hour, 2 hours right now, just be straight recovery stuff. From massage, cold tub, treatment. It's the list goes on, and then it's a process tomorrow. But I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to making sure my body is at whatever close to 100 as possible going into the next game.
Go ahead, Mark.
Talk about Cuz, what you thought when he came here, and how do you think things have been for him mentally and also with tonight's game?
Yeah, I think it's great to have Cuz in there. He slows the game up for us, which is a good thing because he's still dominant big and demands a double team. So I think it's a great breakup for us when we're playing the spread and fast paced to have Cuz slow the game down in moments where we can dump it down there and get production. So he brings the toughness and that's what this team is prided on. We got toughness from top to bottom, and Cuz just adds to that.
Considering your time playing All-Star games with him and then to see this stage of his career now, how, I guess, is that like the waves of life of an NBA player? What did you learn from that?
Yeah, I've been teammates with Cuz in the USA team. We grew a great relationship then. And draft night, during the whole process, we connected, same draft. And, we both had big time injuries that we, talked about and shared moments. And so, I think, at this point in his career, I think he has matured a lot. He just plays with so much passion. I think it just gets, taken the wrong way because he plays hard, he plays with passion, and he just wants to be respected on the floor. But we appreciate what he brings. We appreciate him on the floor, and I hope he can be the player that he was, if not close to it.
Go ahead, Rachel, then Mannix, then Sam, then whoever else.
Well, you just mentioned the major injury. I sometimes think of your career as before and after. What did going through that teach you about toughness and digging in when things are hard and all the stuff that you're showing in this playoffs?
Yeah, it's just been tough. It's been a process. I hear LeBron say, he's not 100% and won't ever be 100% again. And then I thought about it like, man, that was stripped from me as well. And it's tough. It's tough. I definitely lost some things. Even with the shoulder surgeries, I lost a little bit. But it's again, it's part of this game. You got to take it. You got to roll with it. You got to be able to adapt. And you just keep it moving. But it is tough going through these injuries, rehabbing, finding a way to be yourself again. I think the good thing about it, though, you just learn on the fly. You learn how to adapt to stuff, knowing what you can and cannot do. And then you just figure out new ways to do things. And I think that's what I've been able to do this year.
That's kind of the thing of it, right? You talk about what you lost, but I assume you gain stuff too. You pick up things.
Yeah,
if you hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, you pick up shortcuts, I guess, ways to get to what you used to be able to do. And I think that just comes down to the mental part because athleticism goes. And so the game becomes mental. You pick up the tricks and how to kind of do those things you used to be able to do again.
Chris, go ahead.
Well, you were talking earlier about the challenges of the day, losing Zubac early. Did you have any sense coming in that this team's going to play with the energy that it did early on, like build like 18-5 lead and just kind of came out with that type of energy? Did you get any sense that was coming?
Yeah, I mean, you never can predict how the game's going to go. But, I thought the energy, the mood was that we were going to come out and if they was going to finish this series off, they was going to have to work for it. And that was just the mentality we came into this. We wasn't going to back down. We wasn't just going to throw in the towel. The fact of the matter is they got to beat us. It's one game for us, and it's one game for them. One game they beat us, we're out. One game, continue our season on. So we just had that mentality to start the game off.
Last one, Sam.
PG, good seeing you. I'm wondering with Ty, we talk about his track record of coming back in series, and with good reason, but have you learned anything new these past 3 series Like when these moments happen, when you guys are behind, the way he uses his voice, the way that he impacts you, like has he changed the way that he moves?
No, he didn't panic. No, the whole thing, you know, it's not like we've been getting blown out. It's not like we've been outmatched. Game 2, we lost on a tip jam. Game 3 Game 3 we lost on the tip down. Game 4 couldn't score to close the game out. It's not like we're that far off. And so, great thing with T-Lou, he didn't panic. It wasn't like we were, you know, ripping up the game plan, starting a new one, just sticking to what we do. And he just continued to just give us confidence that what we're doing is working. Stay with the game plan, minor adjustments, but he's sticking with what we do. And in times like this, it's great not to go in panic mode. You know, he's just great at just staying calm and collected.
Thanks, Pete.
Tonight's shot chart is presented by Kaiser Permanente, and guys, this one also belongs to Paul George. Again, a playoff career high 41 points, including 30 in the second half. He was 15 of 20 from the field. That's good for 75% for those of you whose math skills are as sharp as mine are.
I wish they showed him going north and south on the shot chart, because that's what he's starting to do much better, and he's slowing down using his size.
Well, Chris Paul had 22 points and 8 assists. The Suns dropped Game 5, but still lead the series 3-2. Here he is.
Arizona Republic, tough loss. First of all, I'd like to ask, how's the tailbone, man? Are you okay from the fall?
Oh, yeah, I'll be all right.
I'm curious then about the energy and pace. Was it what you wanted to see consistently throughout the game?
Not at all. Definitely got to be better. They came out and they were the aggressors. They sort of looked like us in Game 4, and they hit us. They were too comfortable, and we got to be better.
Next is Dave McMiniman with ESPN, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Sometimes you got to tip your cap. What do you make of Paul George tonight and how he's been playing this series for a while?
Yeah, he got it going. You know what I mean? Like I said, he was getting his spots. He's making shots. Twin and Reggie got it going early. It gave him a chance to sort of settle into the game, and we got to make it tougher on him.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, and then Jovan Buha.
Yeah, Chris, you guys took the lead and then got tight there at the end. What do you feel like you guys weren't able to do to get over the hump?
We got to close quarters better. You know what I mean? Like, that's been a problem for us all series long, is closing quarters. Those last 2.5, 3 minutes of the quarters. You know, we took the lead, maybe cut it to 1 or 2, and then they get a bucket, and then they go on a run. So look at it, see what we need to do better, and get ready for the next one.
Next is Jovan Buha with The Athletic, followed by Kellen Olson.
Hey, Chris. They've actually stayed with Zubats more than playing small ball, and you guys had outplayed their small ball lineups through the first 4 games. What was the difference in them shifting to smaller and having more success with those lineups?
I don't know. I got to look at it. We gave them a lot of open shots early. You know what I mean? They got their threes going, and I think that's a team that plays off confidence when they're making shots. So we got to try to get the right people shooting, and our offense feeds off our defense. So we just got to remember that.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Gina Mizell.
Chris, I know with your position you take pride in getting DeAndre the ball. What were you seeing with the way the Clippers were sending bodies at him?
Got to do a better job getting it to him, get our spacing right, you know, knowing that they undersized. They got like 3 people sort of boxing him out or trying to hold him down. So we just got to pick our spots better and be more aggressive.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Cameron Cox.
Hey Chris, Monty during his pregame availability kept preaching kind of first quarter, and so I imagine that's what he was telling you guys too. So when it doesn't quite click in that first quarter, how surprising or frustrating was that for you guys?
I mean, it's frustrating, but you realize it's a long game. You settle in, and you know, guys came in, we fought back, and you know, it seemed like every time we get there or whatnot, they do another run or whatnot. So we look at it, like I said, and we got to come out better.
Next is Cameron Cox with 12 News, followed by Sierra Santos.
Chris, what's the mood after this one? Monty Williams, he just said that you guys are going to be better next game. Is that what you guys talked about right after this?
Absolutely, absolutely. We know we go in there, a place where we won last time. We know they're going to be excited and ready to go, so we'll be ready.
Final two questions are going to be Sierra Santos with Fox 10 and Dwayne Rankin.
I asked Monty about desperation. It's not really something that you guys can practice. He said that you guys really aren't going to need to practice it anyway after getting your butts kicked. What do you think the response level is going to be like in LA?
We'll see tomorrow. Yeah, that's why you play the games. We'll see day after tomorrow, you know.
Final question is Dwayne Rankin.
Chris, you guys have been so good at protecting the ball, and then tonight, only the 14 turn, but they turned that into
23 points, yeah.
How huge was that?
Yeah, that was uncharacteristic of us, you know, especially me. I had a couple turnovers early in the game, first, second quarter, and they converted on all of them, you know. So, like we said, that's uncharacteristic of us, and we got to be better game 6.
Thank you for the time, Chris.
No problem.
Devin Booker added 31, 4, and 3. He's at the podium, too.
Devin, tough loss, man. Thanks for your time. Greg Warner is on the Republic. I saw you were as aggressive offensively as I can recall. I'm curious, how do you try to transfer some of that to your teammates to bring more energy earlier?
I mean, it's on all of us. You know, they came out, they punched us in the face to start the game, and I think we showed it at spots tonight and certain times, but, you know, they're not going to go away easily. So, you know, we have to be locked in, you know, from beginning to end.
Next is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Yeah, Monty lamented the defense giving up 58 points in the paint. He said there was too many open looks when you guys were able to cut it, I think, to 4. Just too many open looks. What did you see defensively from your group?
I think they spaced us out well, running their small ball lineup, which opened the paint. You know, but as a team, you know, we still have to guard with 5 people. You know, it's never a one-on-one matchup. So all 5 have to be locked in, and even the bench has to be ready. So, you know, we have to show bodies and help each other out there.
Next up is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Jovan Buha.
Yeah, Devin, the mask, was it a better fit for you tonight than last night, than the other night?
Just made a couple adjustments, opened up the eye pocket, see it a little bit better, but yeah, it's a little bit better.
Wanted to follow up, you know, Coach was saying that a game like that, as he called it, getting your butt kicked, will click in the sense of urgency. How much do you agree with that?
I think we're going to be ready to go for game 6. You know, that's a tough loss for us at home with a chance, you know, to clinch to go to the NBA Finals. So, you know, we're going to be ready.
Next is Jovan Buha with The Athletic, followed by Gina Mizell.
Hey, look, you mentioned the small ball lineup and then kind of spacing you guys out. You guys had actually fared well against it through the first 4 games, and they had actually been better when Zubats was on the floor. So what was kind of the difference in their small ball approach in this game?
I would have to go back and watch it again. But at the same time, 50 points in the paint, you know, I think, you know, we still helped each other in that area, even when they spaced us out in the previous games. But, you know, I mean, you can blame it on everybody. A lot of straight line drives and no help at the same time. So, you know, this is a five-man defense. It's been like that way the whole season, and we have to be better.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, and then Kellen Olson.
Look, you guys have done such a great job all season of responding after losses. Just what do you anticipate the next 48 hours are going to be like? I'm sure it's going to be a long week for game 6.
Yeah, just, you know, we're going to be ready. You know, we're going to look at the film and the game and, you know, make the adjustments that are necessary. But still having fun with it. You know, the process of this and the journey of it is, you know, second to none. You know, I said it after we lost the first one. Obviously, you don't want to lose any games, but, you know, coming back into the film session, getting together as a team and talking everything out, you know, that's part of it too. So, you know, once you start enjoying that and having fun with that, I think good things happen for our team, and, you know, we've responded well all season.
Next up is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports.
Yeah, but to go off that, Monty all years talked about not wanting to flush games like this because he wants you guys to take it in a bit and make the adjustments off that. How much has that helped your guys' success in these situations this year in terms of taking the emotions you feel after this one and making the tweaks as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's just honesty, it's communication. We all have the same goal in this locker room. That's to win basketball games. So, when we don't do that, you know, we look at what we did wrong. Or when we win basketball games, we do the same thing. You know, we go into the film sessions, still try to figure out where we can be better.
Final question is David Chinolado from Italy.
Hey, Brooke, what do you think you guys did wrong in terms of not having the urgency? Is it a matter of, you know, mental thing, or you got punched in the face, as you said, and you didn't manage to get back in the game?
I mean, we managed to get back in the game a few times. You know, I think they stretched it to 10 multiple times, and we fought back. It's just that last stretch. You know, we don't want to spend the whole game fighting uphill, so, you know, just come out with a sense of urgency and be ready to go.
Thanks for the time, Bo.
Appreciate it.
Shifts back to LA as Monty Williams and the Suns drop Game 5 but lead 3-2. Here he is.
The way you guys came out and started that game with the 20-5 hole early.
No, I don't have an answer for what I attribute it to. It's just unacceptable the way we started the game. It was a big hole for us. It's pretty obvious that we can't play with the show-up mentality. We showed up in the first quarter, and they played with desperation, simple and plain.
Next up is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Monty, you guys did make a push, though. You take the lead in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Cut it, I think, on the four, midway through the fourth. What do you think you were missing to get over that final?
Guarding the ball, simple as that. That's basketball universal 101. You got to be able to guard the ball. We did. And they hit some tough shots, and you give them credit. They had 58 points in the paint. That's not something you would have expected, especially with them not having Zubac tonight. And so we will be better in the next game. But that's paramount on my mind right now is we got to play with way more force and competitive edge, and we got to guard the ball.
Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Jovan Buha.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about points in the paint. Cousins, you went from hardly playing to having that kind of performance.
15 points off the bench. When you have to double guys like that, it forces you into rotations. We didn't meet him early. We let him get right to the block tonight. He got whatever he wanted for the time he was in the game, and he was a presence tonight. They played with determination. You know, we have to realize we're trying to close out a series against a team that's been there before, and they're going to claw and scratch and do whatever it takes. We have to have that mentality. I didn't feel that in the first quarter. As the game progressed, we had it, and then they had confidence because they were making shots.
Next is Jovan Buha with the Athletic, followed by Kellen Olson.
Hey, Monty. Without Zubac, they played a lot more small ball.
Yeah.
I think they went small for like 37 minutes. They had actually played better with Zubac versus the small lineup. What kind of changed tonight did you feel with them having success going small?
I didn't think we showed them enough bodies. Even when they were in one-on-one situations, I thought we were spread out. When we looked at it at halftime, you could see nothing but paint instead of seeing Suns' bodies and arms, even when they were in isolation situations with Paul and Reggie and Morris. We didn't show them enough bodies. And when they have a small lineup like that, they're going to try to spread you out. Again, it comes down to being able to guard the ball and forcing them to shoot tough shots. We let Paul go left, step back. How many times did we see that tonight? You know, Reggie went left into his shot. There were times we were shifted too far off of Reggie, and he hit some deep threes. But in that moment, you have to understand that he's going to take those shots, especially late in the game.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Gina Mizell.
Hey, Monty, for you guys offensively, the Clippers went zone to start the game.
Yeah.
How did you assess the way you guys handled it early on?
I didn't think early we held the ball too much. That's all we talked about was once the ball gets to the second side, take off. You know, either shoot it or get to the paint. When we did it, it looked pretty good. And I thought we allowed them to force us to stay on the side of the floor instead of getting over top of the screens. When you get over top of the screen versus the zone, then you can force them into rotations. We didn't do a good job of that tonight, but we will. We will be better. They'll probably do the same thing, throw some defenses at us like that, and we have to be better.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Cameron Cox.
Monty, you kind of touched on this in your first answer, but just you were 2-0 in closeout games before. What do you think you've learned now about closeout games as you get deeper into the playoffs, and just what do you anticipate the next step?
The desperation has to be there. That's the deal. You know, just because you have a lead in the series doesn't mean you can show up and they're going to give it to you. You know, we have to understand that, and I think we do now. We will be better when we show up the next time we play. But their desperation, their competitive edge tonight was consistent for 48 minutes. We did it in spurts, and we certainly didn't start the game with it.
Next is Cameron Cox with 12 News, followed by Sierra.
Let's take a look at this series schedule as the Western Conference Finals have been extended. Game 6 is in Los Angeles Wednesday at 9 Eastern on ESPN. So let's take a look ahead to Game 6. The Clippers have extended this series with that Game 5 win, and we've talked a lot about the Clippers, but Smitty, let me ask you about the Suns. If they're going to close out on the road, what has to happen?
Well, I think right now on the road in a Game 6 scenario, and when this team has all the confidence right now in the swagger and the Clippers right now because they gain the momentum again, I look at it as they'll be fine at the beginning of the game. Then it becomes the first 5 minutes of that third quarter.
Yeah.
That's when the game will start. You'll start to see where we are, you know, in that game six, because they're going to be able to hang in there. Both teams, they're going to go back and forth. Somebody might get a big lead. But that third quarter for either team, GA, in that Game 6, if that first 5 minutes of that third quarter and you're down by a lot and that lead gets extended, that pressure is going to mount up. And then you're going to have some guys, especially young guys, trying to get it all back in one play. But then also, if you look at it, if you're tied up and you start to get that momentum and you get a little bit of separation, puts a lot of pressure on the Clippers.
And 3-1 turns into 3-3 really quickly.
It can. And again, the pressure will be on Phoenix. And I think Monty hit it on the head. Like, what's tough about games like this for inexperienced teams is, you know, you don't understand that you've got to be desperate when you're up 3-1. Like, you have to match that sense of urgency that the Clippers played with. And they basically were climbing uphill the entire game. And Smitty talked about it. Like, that first 5 to 7 minutes really sets the tone. Like, if you go out and you match their physicality and their intensity, now they know you're not going to wilt. Tonight, I thought they gave the Clippers a lot of confidence with how they played. And I really felt like a lot of that is on, as great as he is, I didn't think Chris and I didn't think that Devin trusted their teammates enough and got those guys engaged. To me, the biggest taboo of the game was DeAndre Ayton getting 9 shots against a small lineup. Like, and even though they go zone, that shouldn't deter you from getting him touches, because the thing about getting him touches is now he becomes a more active player. You know, and with bigs, it's up to the team to get a big involved. He doesn't bring the ball up the court.
Right, yeah.
He doesn't get to, you know, call his own number. And so I think when Chris goes and watches this film and Monty and they breaks, they'll look at that campaign coming out. Like, they've got to do a better job of getting their best big man involved in the game.
GA and Christian, you know, in these games, stars are stars, right? But Phoenix energy guys had no energy.
Yeah.
Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, even Cameron Payne, you know, he's around, he's jumping around. They were a little shell-shocked. You know, the energy guys for the Clippers, that Patrick Beverly was all over the place. Marcus Morris, those energy guys played with energy. Mm-hmm. And the energy guys for Phoenix Suns, I didn't see that energy from Mikal Bridges. I didn't see that energy, you know, from Jay Crowder. Usually he's into things. He's rebounding. He's taking charges. I didn't see that tonight.
Again, Game 6 Wednesday on ESPN, and that's going to do it for our post-game press conferences. If you'd like to find each and every one of them from the coaches and the players, they'll be available on NBA.com. But our conference